Australia, the most laid-back country on the planet, the she'll be right mate culture. Are we the most relaxed people on this earth, or are we in fact the most anxious? It's Ryan from the Centre for Healing here. Some new data has just been released by Google. Now, Google data is very, very enlightening about what's happening within a culture, because Google can look at what certain areas of the planet are searching to find out different trends. Now, it turns out that Australia, right here, yeah, us, when it comes to search terms related to anxiety, so anxiety treatment, symptoms of anxiety, I'm feeling anxious, all this kind of stuff, we search that stuff more per capita than any other country on the planet, which says to us, that's data that says we're the most anxious country on the planet, which is weird because we've been known as this laid-back culture who's very, very chilled out, yet when we're alone, this is the stuff that we're searching for. Something doesn't add up, which means the result is over here, how we've been doing things is over here, so maybe that needs to change. It often reminds me of, the idea of masculine, or what it is to be a man. The culture has taught us for so long that men, we get on with the job, we just provide, we soldier on, we don't talk about our feelings, we don't complain, we don't talk about our emotions, we get on with things and we're very strong, and boys don't cry. On the other hand, the result of that is suicide's the number one killer of men under the age of 50. So once again, something doesn't add up. It reminds me of, there's a book, right? There's a book by Dr. Joe Dispenza called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. It's a very, very good book, and there's a chapter in that book called The Gap. That chapter, I believe, is one of the best chapters in a book ever written, okay? Very, very important. Now, in that, he talks about the gap between two versions of ourselves, okay? There's the gap between who we show to the world and who we really are. So who we show to the world is that person that we portray to other people. It's how other people see us and how we perceive that other people see us as well, okay? It's kind of like our personality, a certain mask that we wear. There's that version. Then there's the version of who we really are. Now, Dr. Joe says, how do we find out who we really are? Well, we go into a room, a quiet room, by ourselves, with no distraction. We shut our eyes and we wait. And if we wait long enough, we're going to feel something. And that something is who we really are. It's what we've really got going on underneath all the layers of our personality. Now, that can be shame, guilt, hurt, sadness. For Australians, it seems like it's anxiety, because when we're by ourselves, that's what we're searching for. Now we have a gap between this anxious version of who we really are and who we portray to the world as someone who has got their shit together and knows what they're doing. I know this now because I did this for so long. It's funny. The wider that gap is, the more addicted we become to this version that we show to the world, and the more we want to suppress and not be with this version. Because we like this version that we show to other people, that's the one that we like, but it ignores who we really are. The more we ignore this version, the stronger and more prevalent it gets. So every time we get to being by ourselves, that feeling, and I'm using the example of anxiety, that anxiety will get stronger and stronger and stronger to a point where we can't even sit with ourselves. And every time we are with ourselves, we will turn to drugs, we will turn to alcohol, we will turn to relationships, we will turn to gambling, shopping, sex, food, work, porn, something just to not be with that feeling of who we really are. So, in order to change that result, we've got to change the way that we're doing things. So how do we do that? How can we start to show the world who we really are and start to address the reasons why we have those feelings underneath? Well, the way to start is by finding one person. So the question is, who is that person that I can sit with and show and talk about the real version of me and not get judged? That's very important, because what happens when we find that person and we can start to open up and address this stuff, we can start to be more open and authentic with more and more and more people from there. And we'll become less and less addicted to that old version that we kept having to show people, and we can show up more vulnerable, more authentic, and more that real self, and that anxiety can start to come down. Okay? But it always starts with finding that one person that's not going to judge you, and you can show that real self, whether that's family, friends, a professional, whoever it is, it's very, very important to find that person, because that's the first step to be able to being more authentic in our day-to-day lives. Very, very, very important. We need to change the way that we're doing things, because the real information, the real data is showing us that we are not who we claim to be. Also, another point on the Google data, just to finish, is Britain was the only country that looks up the weather more than they did porn. So hats off to you, Britain. Keep up the good work. That's all from me today. Peace out.